Hello and welcome. This is Gray Hughes of Gray Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
We're all Richard Allen!
Huh? It's a house!
There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Hey, what's going on, freaks? Yep, there I am in the darkness. How's it going, everybody? Well, today apparently is the final hearing, at least for now, before the trial. But I guess today we'll hear the arguments of whether or not the trial will be delayed, continued, I guess they call it. And we'll find that out. Hey, look at that. It's Leon Littlejohn. Hey, good to see you. You're still at work, jeez. Yeah, that's crazy. Have you slept in the last month? I mean, 3 weeks or whatever the hell it was. Yeah, so it starts, I have the window up on one of my monitors here. It's right here. It looks like it starts in like an hour and 50 minutes or something. You know, but make sure to come on to not miss anything. Man. That's crazy. Maybe you guys can just secure it better. You know, like make sure nobody can get in or whatever. Oh, we had a pretty fun, interesting show last night. A lot of poll questions. Hey, thanks, Christina Jellybean, or Jellybean. Yeah, it was so blurry for some reason. Welcome. Isn't it 10:45 in Idaho right now? No. No, it starts at, I think they said 12:30 local time, but it's 11:30 my time. Yeah, right. So it's 12:30 local time there, and I'm an hour behind them, so it's 11:30. It starts at like in an hour and 45 minutes or so. Yeah, the Karen Reed. What do you guys think's going to happen in that one? I think the jury, what I think is kind of lame is like the jury came back and said, basically told everybody that they found her not guilty on 2 of the charges, and the third, they're a hung jury, or they're undecided, and they wanted to know if the whole trial will be a mistrial if they can't come to a conclusion, and the judge wouldn't answer. The problem with that is if the judge actually gave him the true answer, they probably all would have went, oh, okay, forget it then. She's not guilty on that one too. Because it's like the two charges she was found guilty of are the two of the higher ones, obviously. Because if you're found guilty on one of the higher ones, it trickles down to all the rest of them. So I don't know, man. I think the know what? I wish they would just wrap it up. I know. I want that trial to be completely over, like right now. It sucks all the oxygen out of the room for everybody else trying to cover different cases, etc. It's stupid. All right. Anyways, great to catch live in the day, not 3 a.m. Yeah, well, one of these days I might start doing live streams at a different time. But this is another live stream, guys, so during the live stream, if you want to help support the channel, get me a coffee or, super chats. You can type in a super chat, put your own poll question in there. Oh, no to the question that I asked. You can just answer it up there. And, yeah, if you send it super chat with poll questions, I'll put yours up there. But yeah, you guys are what support the channel on the live streams. There is no ad revenue to speak of when you're doing these live streams, even though they put ads out there. They do. I mean, it's a crazy thing, and they give you like a quarter of like on a video live stream or something. Really weird. I know, me too. But that's why I hope she's found. I actually at this point, I hope she's found not guilty of everything. Okay, because that way it just goes away. Oh, sure, there'll be the publicity tour. Oh, look at that. We always knew, blah, 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 blah. But if she's found guilty or any other thing, oh, this thing will go on for decades. I mean, it'll just keep going. Yeah, I watched like probably, an hour of it, this trial, and I went over, well, more than that, because I went over the only thing I looked at was the taillight information. And to me, it looked like the taillight was already missing before she backed into that car that was, that little tiny nick of the car, because there was nothing on the ground after she pulled away. Hey, thanks, Cheryl Moran. Man, you're always so kind. Thank you so much. Is it going to make the sound? Wait.
Hello, Grand Freak family. Heart hands emoji at work, but I'm here.
Oh, I just missed it. Oh, man. Oh, well. Yeah, and hit that like button when you come in here, guys. When I woke up this morning, this is when you know your channel has a lot of troll followers. When I woke up, and I hadn't even done this live stream yet, it had 82% likes. That means 18% of the people had hit the dislike button before the show even started. I mean, don't give away your hands so easily, you guys. So make sure to hit that like button to overrun the troll dislike barrage. All right, so here's the 360-degree video that I made of inside, the actual residence itself. And I made this, based off of the animation that I made recently of the entire event of that night. That's what this is. So, inside the kitchen, and then if you're unaware of the layout and everything, that's the sliding glass door. Or maybe we can use these in combination. Because what I always like, I want everybody to be absolutely like, oh yeah, yes, I know the layout, everything, perfectly in your head. So you don't have to, wonder at trial. Hold on, I gotta get rid of these stupid. Huh. Well, anyways. So right back here, if we just move it down a little bit more, right here, probably there, this might be better. I'm trying to find a spot where you can see the patio. Yeah, see the patio right there? That patio has an angle, you know, it goes off like that for a sliding glass door on the other side. And so the sliding glass door right there goes up this hill, and here's the parking spot, and then here's the side street by the building. And then let's go, hold on. Go back to this, and this is the sliding glass door at night. Goes inside the kitchen, and then once you go in the kitchen, if you go forward right there, you can take a left and go into the living room. That's Dylan Mortensen's bedroom right there, by the way. I mean, she was in a particularly crappy spot. Like, she could hear everything going on. And then there's Dylan Mortensen's room again, and that was the living room right there, and there's the stairs that go down, and to the left is Xana Kernodle. Just off to the left around there, and then right there are the stairs that go upstairs, and that's like a pantry right here. The kitchen's right around that corner. Now we're going up the stairs. There's the living room in the darkness over there. That's Dylan Mortensen's room again. Is this all making sense, like visually? Right? Because these are the stairs that we were just looking at that go up. And then there's Dylan Mortensen's room again. I'm now on the landing. Going up the stairs, there's a window right there that looks outside to the parking area. Yeah, I don't want another trial. So you'd almost want her to be found not guilty, Cindy, just to get it over with. I mean, this thing will just go on and on and on. So there you go, going up the stairs. There's that window back to the back parking lot. And now we're at the top of the stairs. So if you could, you know, if there was actually something out that window, the parking area, let me show you exactly where that is. See that window right there? That window is, hold on. That's that window right there. And then this window right here is Madison Mogen's window. So now we're at the top of the stairs. There's the top of the stairs. Let me go back a little bit to show you that, you know. So there's the window again that we were just looking at right there. And now we are at Madison Mogen's room. There's a bathroom right there. And now we're in Madison Mogen's room. This is where they found Madison, and Kaylee was kind of sitting like that, I guess, in the corner, sort of slumped over. That's the other window that was to the right of the stair window. I even put a K-bar knife sheath on the bed right there. And then exiting, there's the bathroom. This is Kaylee Goncalves' room when she lived there. And that's apparently where Madison, Kaylee, Dylan, and Bethany all sort of met around like 2:13 or so. And Bethany and Dylan were like, hey, maybe we should go get some grub truck food too. And then they decided not to. All right, then we have the stairs right here that go down now. Now we're at the bottom of those stairs. That's Dylan's room. That's the living room. Now we're into the living room area. That's where the TV would be. That's the window that goes out to the front on the left if you're looking from the front of the building. So if we were to, let's see, we're at 428. Out here, that room right there, that window in the living room is right here. See that? And then this is Xana Kernodle's bedroom window right there. All right, now this shot right here I put in here because this is what Dylan Mortensen saw right here. So when she ran out of her room, she was a little closer though, because I'm way against the wall, more like this, right? So see how you would run and then go down the stairs to get to Bethany Funk's room? See how you can see right there on the ground? That is Xana Kernodle. So the door was open. And then when Dylan went to go downstairs, she looked over and saw her feet facing the living room and her head towards the wall back there, right? And this is getting closer to the room. And then it was probably something similar to this, like she's on the ground and he's over there on the bed. And perhaps the blood that's seen outside coming out of the building is his. So from over there, kind of like that. And then there's a bathroom right outside. I get some people say that there's like a laundry room there too. I don't know. It's hard to say. And now we're just kind of going down the hallway again. This is the living room. That's that window again. And there's Dylan right there coming out of her door. I don't think she came out like that though. I just have it so you can see her. I think she's back in there and the door is, like my animation has it, the door is open maybe to that far and she's looking through it. And that's from inside that room. That would be Dylan, but the door is probably shut more than that. And that's what she would see. Look at that. That's just perfect. You know? So that you can see a bushy eyebrow, just one, because he's turning in that direction. I don't think he ever saw her. She was probably pretty quiet. And then there he goes into the kitchen. And then he's already out the door. So she shut her door and then locks it. So there you go. What do you guys think of that? That was pretty super chat worthy, didn't you think? Kind of have a slow start going here, you guys. So we're gonna. This is a full hearing. Well, apparently part of the hearing is their third-party suspect arguments. And then the other part that we get to see is the continuance argument. You know, the fact they want to, you know, the defense wants it delayed because they just haven't had time, and the Dateline episodes and books and all kinds of things. And the prosecution argued that, well, you don't need the longer you wait, the more opportunities for people to find out about the case. Yeah, well, the one I have the trial, I'm not sure if it's this one or see how everything's all broken up on the screen. Yep. It should not be delayed. Thanks, Allie Cake.
Thanks, great. Ocean wave emoji.
I think he's going to rule
Ocean
soon.
wave emoji.
I
Ocean
think.
wave emoji.
I don't know if he'll. I hope he rules today. Yeah, I'm sure he's already. You would think that he's already been contemplating it. They've already made their arguments, so I'm not really sure what today, would be about, because he seems like he would have already made his decision. Maybe he's giving them one last attempt, or I don't know. I guess we'll see. Thanks, Allie Cake. Let's hit the like button, everybody. Pretty simple. Pretty simple to do. They've already put something out there today? Wow. Usually they don't put it out until the afternoon. Cheryl Moran caught the alley cake wave. So how about the rest of you guys? Let's get the wave going. We got to make sure that the channel reaches its goals and everything today. I'd appreciate it. How about we load this one into ChatGPT and see what it says, just to get a quicker breakdown of it. Alright, let's see. Summarize PDF file of the Kohberger case.
Sure, please upload the PDF file related to the Kohberger case that you'd like summarized. Once uploaded, I'll extract and summarize it in as much detail as you'd like. Just let me know if you prefer a formal breakdown, podcast-style summary, or something else.
All right, let's see.
Here is a formal full breakdown of the document titled, Defendant's Reply to the State's Opposition to Defendant's Motion to Continue. Filed June 16, 2025, by Bryan Kohberger's defense team. Summary. This document is Bryan Kohberger's legal reply to the prosecution's opposition to his request to delay the upcoming trial. The defense asserts that the delay is necessary to ensure Kohberger's constitutional rights, particularly given the complexity of a capital case and the prejudicial media coverage that could undermine a fair trial. Key legal arguments presented by the defense. 1. Constitutional basis for continuance, pp. 2-3. Cites legal precedent, Berger v. United States, 1935. Coleman v. Thompson, 1991, and Kyler v. Sullivan, 1980, argues that denying additional time would violate Kohberger's Sixth Amendment right to effective assistance of counsel, particularly in a capital case. Meeting prior deadlines doesn't mean the investigation is complete. Instead, new developments require extended time for mitigation preparation. 2. Defense's adherence to deadlines does not invalidate need for delay. Previous compliance with the court schedule is presented as good faith diligence, not proof that all necessary work is done. References Strickland v. Washington 1984 and Wiggins v. Smith 2003 to argue that additional time is constitutionally required for effective mitigation investigation. 3. Time frame is short compared to other capital cases, pp. 3-4. Kohberger's case has been pending for less than 2.5 years, which the defense argues is shorter than the average of 3.55 years or 1,382 days seen in federal death penalty trials. References high-profile cases like Nicholas Cruz, which took over 4 years pre-trial, even with a guilty plea. 4. Unique complexity and media attention, pp. 4-5. Lists barriers including reluctant witnesses, difficulty hiring experts due to media attention, leaks and violations of gag orders, cross-jurisdictional mitigation investigation, argues forcing trial on current schedule would compromise due process and could lead to reversal on appeal. 5. Dateline episode and media leaks, pp. 5-7. Cites Dateline special and upcoming James Patterson book and Amazon docuseries as highly prejudicial, containing alleged leaked materials in violation of the court's non-dissemination order. Asserts these productions could bias the jury pool, requiring a delay to allow investigation and cooling off period. States that the leaks themselves may be Brady material, i.e. potentially exculpatory, necessitating pre-trial investigation to identify the sources and assess impact. 6. Voir dire jury selection inadequate under current plan, pp. 7-8. Criticizes the current 2-week window as insufficient for individualized voir dire needed in high-profile capital cases. Emphasizes that expanded questioning is
I could see him starting voir dire earlier. Now giving him 3 weeks to find somebody who hasn't heard of the trial, of the case. All right, hold on. I gotta go all the way down here.
6. Voir dire jury selection inadequate under current plan PP 7-8. Criticizes the current 2-week window as insufficient for individualized voir dire needed in high-profile capital cases. Emphasizes that expanded questioning is essential due to the depth of pretrial publicity and the death penalty qualification process. 7. ABA guidelines as the standard for capital defense PP 8-9. Refutes the state's argument that ABA guidelines are non-binding by citing Wiggins v. Smith 2003 and state statute IC 19-6005-4, which requires their use in Idaho. Argues that these guidelines reflect prevailing professional norms and are legally persuasive, even if not binding. 8. Victims' rights do not override defendants' rights PP 9-10. Argues that while Article 1, SS-22 of the Idaho Constitution provides for a timely disposition for victims, this does not override Kohberger's 6th and 14th Amendment rights. Points out that the state's decision to pursue the death penalty inherently extends the timeline due to additional procedural requirements. Suggests if the state wishes for a quicker trial, they can withdraw the death penalty notice and proceed with a non-capital case. Conclusion, P. 11. The defense reiterates that the continuance is constitutionally required, essential to provide an individualized sentencing determination in a capital case, necessary to ensure a fair and impartial jury process, needed to investigate potential Brady violations related to the media leaks. Therefore, the defense requests the court grant the motion to continue, ensuring Kohberger's constitutional rights are upheld. Appendices, Declaration of G. Ben Cohen, Federal Death Penalty Resource Council Project, provides data on average times between indictment and penalty verdict in federal capital trials, 2010 to 2020. Overall average, 1,382 days for 3.8 years. Life sentence cases, 1,664 days. Death sentence cases, 946 days. Notes racial disparities and longer timelines for non-white victims or defendants. Reinforces the argument that Kohberger's timeline is not excessive by national standards. Would you like this summary turned into a PDF format for printing or sharing? Or would you like a version rewritten for a podcast or video script?
No, that's all right. Anyways. Yeah, I don't know, Veronica. Well, people don't like, a lot of people don't like my channel because on my channels I try to actively get people to financially support the channel every single day because it allows me to keep doing the shows, first of all, and, you know, secondly, I mean, which is really the main thing that we do, is my channels, we're at $248,000 that I've given away out of the income from the ad revenue, the super chats, etc. Now today we're starting off really slow again for some unknown reason, other than Cheryl Moran's first generosity one. We're just kind of slogging along as seems like lately usual. Okay, but at the end of the month we donate thousands of dollars from the income from the channel to various we have a DNA fund where we've put over $100,000 into it to identify Jane and John Does or crime victims. And we also have a scholarship fund where we've put 6,000, 2 years in a row. We did 6,000, 6,000. And we're working on this year's 6,000. We're at like 4,500. Once we get to 6, we give away another scholarship barrage. We gave away last year two $3,000 scholarships, and then this year we're giving we gave three $2,000 scholarships earlier this year, and now we're working on another. We're going to do again 3 $2,000 scholarships. So it's pretty cool. Like, we do a lot of great stuff here, and maybe great if people just sort of realize it on nightly, daily basis, etc. Instead, they're over there just flinging like a slot machine on other channels that do nothing for anybody. All right. So, anyways, thanks, Kimmers and Laura Clegg. Appreciate it. All right. So there you go. I other than that, I have no idea. I mean, I think the way I put stuff together, the logical presentations should be the norm in the true crime genre, but it just isn't. Sensationalism, complete garbage wins the day. All right, I'm just doing the way I know it should be done, and if you don't like it, then don't watch. That's as simple as that. Thanks, Laura Clegg and Patricia Grizzo. Or Grizo. Every time I say it, I know I say it right one time, but then. So, I mean, I hope you guys think that's pretty cool, because we've given 248. At the end of this month, we'll be at $250,000 in 5 years. That's pretty good. Okay? It's $250,000 more than the rest of the true crime community combined. Yeah. All right, let's see. Is it related to what we're doing, Derek? Yeah. Yeah, we already went over that whole thing, Derek. I don't know what the... That's what my whole video was for yesterday. Did you see it? Yeah, it's when she got pulled over, yeah. Yeah, no. I have the whole video. I've had it for 4 or 5 days. I analyzed it. We figured out as a group what she was saying, etc. I know what her name is, all that, but I'm not putting her name out there. People want to put her name out there. I don't want her bugged endlessly, you know. Hey, thanks, M. Morgan. Happy to be here. Thanks for your talent. Do you have any thoughts about the possibility that the DoorDash driver said she walked by Bryan versus she parked by Bryan? I don't know. I mean, we could listen to it. I have it just sitting here. I'm not opposed to having it changed, but it's right here, Derek. See this? This is it. Yeah, I just took this little portion of it because it's like 50-something minutes long.
And then now I have to testify. Big murder case too, so yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
You have to testify in which murder case?
Murder case with the college girl.
Oh.
My DoorDash driver, I saw Bryan there. Very Easton.
So you think it says I walked right next to him there? Let's see.
Very Easton.
Yeah. I mean, you know.
Very Easton. Very Easton.
I hear I parked, but, you know, I guess, you know, I can't say that it doesn't say I walked.
Very Easton. Very Easton.
I hear like R. I like to hear an R sound. Like R. Parked. What do you guys? Yeah, well, I have a better version than they do because I actually took the time to make it, you know, get rid of the crappy sound. And it was a lot worse than that. It was like, shh. So I got rid of that and I boosted up her audio so I think you can hear every segment better than you hear it in other places that have played it. So, I mean, look how easily this is to...
And then now I have to testify.
And now I have to testify.
Big murder case too, so yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
You have to testify in which murder case?
Murder case with the college girl.
Oh.
My DoorDash driver, I saw Bryan there. Very Easton.
Yeah. Parked right next to him. So for me, let me open up, I guess I have to open up Google Earth here. That's the State Star, it's not the Star Witness. You people, you pro burgers are nuts, you know that? Hey, the Star Witness is the DoorDash driver. The linchpin of the entire case, everybody. Oh, Jesus. Man, you guys' brains are fried. Dylan Mortensen is probably a much bigger witness. All she can do is sort of verify that he came by. Maybe she saw some extra things. Who knows? We don't know. Hey, thanks, Nikki Butler. Try slowing it down. I guess I don't know. I do those things, and let's just look at this really quick. Right here is the. Let's go to the time when the house is still there. So when she says she parked right next to him, I think that means she parked kind of like right there, and then he was right here. I mean, so that's why on the third pass, it seems like he either stopped right here or right there, because maybe she pulled in and he's just. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where like if he's blocking the driveway here, she can't get in, but she might have already been here, and then he pulls up, and she said she parked next to him, but it almost sounds like she pulled in when he was parked already, right? I parked right next to him. If it was the other way around, wouldn't she say he parked right next to me if she was already there first? You guys understand the semantics there? That makes a big difference. So she said, I parked right next to him. That means he was there already. So that's an interesting development. That probably means then that based on this timeline here, at between 3:57 and 3:58, she came in. I would actually say that she probably got there into the parking area at like 3:57:15 or so, and then he drove down and stopped, and she was already there. Then at 3:59 she clicks delivered, and then her camera's ready, gets out of her car after that car drove away, probably scared her a little bit, like, what's this guy doing? And then, 3 key fobs at 3:59, 46, 48, 51. Walks over there, and then it drops off the delivery, takes a photo, then key fob again at 4 o'clock and 27 seconds, 28, and then maybe at that point she drives away, or she just sits there for a little bit. And maybe at 4:05, when the car came back, that's when it was leaving, and it's on the 1112 King Road camera at the same time as the white Elantra, and that's why it didn't make it into the Dateline episode. So there you go. Slowing the video down, it might pick up. I know what you're saying. I know. I've tried it 100 times. Everybody tries all kinds of things. You slow it down, and I mean, maybe we can do it like this. I can take this one. This one entails this. See how it's just green here? That's the nested version of that whole thing. So I'll try what you're saying. All right. So let's do like 75%.
So yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah. You have to test.
Yeah, hold on.
And now I have to testify.
That actually does make that part a little easier to hear that.
So yeah, because.
Okay, now that actually makes me want to fix something. She doesn't say, she says, so yeah, there. Big murder case too, so yeah. I don't know if, yeah, I'm just going to spell yeah the way I want it. So yeah. Let me go back to that again.
So yeah, because I'm a DoorDash.
Oh wow, so it just says so yeah, and that we have is not even in there at all. Just like that. Let's see what that sounds like now.
Murder case too, so yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver.
Yeah, there you go. Well, that worked. So, wow, that's weird. Normally I slow it down, but I always find that, like, when you slow it down, often you don't hear things. You miss the. I mean, it's weird. I don't know. Like, it doesn't work, but this one does seem like you can actually hear it better. So, good idea there. Let's see.
So yeah, because I'm a DoorDash driver, so yeah.
Right, and that all makes sense. Big murder case too, so yeah, like she's stressed out or whatever. Because I'm the DoorDash driver, so yeah. So she repeats the yeah part again.
You have to testify in which murder case? Oh. My DoorDash driver is somewhere.
That's in right. That's I think it's said parked right next to him. Listen.
Okay.
That one still seems like it says that. The only thing that we changed that I could hear differently was just this part right here. Big murder case too, so yeah, because I'm the DoorDash driver, so yeah. That actually makes that wording there, makes it seem more legit too. You know? The way she words that. By changing that little part there, it just seems like she's just like, yeah, geez, I'm that DoorDash driver, yeah, geez, yeah. So there you go. All right, cool. Thanks for the suggestion there. Sometimes in other cases I've slowed it down and it just gets more garbled, and then you listen to it in normal speed again. This time you could actually hear it, and then listening to it quick, it sounded exactly like the edit and better. So there you go. Thank you. Is the goofball the state's witness? It's this goofball. God, don't you hate people like that? These idiot pro burgers that come in. Is this goofball the state's witness? She might be one of the state witnesses, and maybe right here she's not having a good day. This is way later, okay? Why don't you look in the mirror, GS? Maybe it's something wrong with you. You ever thought of that? Whew, wow, unbelievable. It is rude, isn't it? Yeah, but those people always show up. The pro burger people are some of the, not only the dumbest people on the planet, but some of the rudest people that have ever existed. And just really disgusting, vile things that they say, do, because that's who they are as a person. That's who they are. They can't help themselves. All right, so there you go. All right, and if you don't agree with that, you're a pro burger, because that is absolutely true. Yeah. All right, so what's the screen look like? I'm sure it's still... There it is right here. Let me get rid of all this stuff. And there it is. Man, I'm so looking forward to this. Yeah, of course it's a state witness. But who cares, GS? That's not their, like, star witness. Man, imagine if the defense got to pull some of you idiots in there. Oh my God, how embarrassing would that be? Holy crap. I mean, seriously, somebody like you would be one of a witness? Oh, man. Most of them are criminals themselves, but yeah, of course. I mean, there are some people out there, well, I'll say, that probably think Kohberger is, they're not sure, which is shocking to me, But, and I don't mind if you're one of those people and you have logical reasons, not conspiracy reasons, okay? That's all Kohbergers have, are conspiracy reasons as to why, how Kohberger isn't the killer. All right? I mean, because I don't know about you, but, you know, generally, if I ever get pulled over by a cop, the first thing I do is go home, and then in the middle of the night, I put on latex gloves and I separate my trash from my family member's trash, and then I place it into my neighbor's garbage can. I mean, we all do that, right? Come on, put a 1. You've done that, right? And, you know, all of us, by the way, how many of us have bought K-Bar knife, Eagle Globe, K-Bar knives? I think we've all bought those, right? And it's weird because I have 3 or 4 friends that were in the same situation. A homicide occurred in the same year that they bought the K-Bar knife sheath. I mean, it's just so unlucky. It's unbelievable. Wow. And then it's so weird. Like, the guy who did the killing was wearing a balaclava. And then haven't we all bought one of those? Jesus, it's like, come on. And then, you know, like, how many of us, apparently we all own a white Elantra. There are 50,000 of them in a town of 19,000 people. Everybody in Moscow, Idaho owns a white Elantra. It's absolutely stunning how many people bought them in that little town. And one of them just wasn't enough. They wanted to make sure if the one that they drove broke down, they have another white Elantra to drive because they are the greatest car in the history of mankind. Hey, thanks, Kimmers. And Joseph Brennan up there. Let's see. And then just for fun, I think most of the people in that town on a nightly basis, just to provoke cops, will remove their front license plate in a town where they're supposed to wear one, just to, you know, put one on, and just to confuse people. You know, they go, oh, hey, Joe, take off all of your front license plates tonight. Come on, we'll drive around. It'll be really fun, and the cops will be... Man, to this date, I still haven't heard one comment by any Kohbergers. Today would be a great day. Just one comment that explained how he's not guilty. Like, what is it out there that just really is exculpatory and points away from him? Go ahead. I'll put a clock on it. Yep, we're all waiting. Come on, you guys. We're all waiting. Gray, what about Brett Kopacka? Gray. Yeah, what about him? What about him? I mean, he has nothing to do with anything. Yeah. All right. Anyways, we're just waiting around here. I could figure out how to get rid of all these. I hate when there's these. Debate with Jewel. She's just. You know what? Here's the one thing that's hard is you can't argue with conspiracy nutters, because their response is always some conspiracy that you can't disprove right away on its face. Like, oh yeah, you know, because that's what their whole game is. That's how they trick their viewers. I think I'm the only person who has something like this, where you can look around in all directions at any time and really get a perfect feel of the area. So hold on a second, I gotta go blow my nose. But if you're out there, you guys, you want to help support the channel, that'd be great. Become a channel member. Maybe buy channel members for some of the new people that are showing up in here. That'd be great. Also. Well, if you're on a budget, then don't send me anything. Nobody asked for a reason why. I mean, you're not required to send anything. And let's see. So this is King Road right here. So for people who haven't been there, that's Sigma Chi. That's where Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, and Bethany Funk were at earlier in the evening. Just that close. Look how close that is. I mean, that's 500 King Road back there. Or Queen Road, I mean. And right over here, I mean, that's Sigma Chi right there. Very close. And right now we're on Taylor Avenue. Oh, you're just being funny. Okay. Well, I mean, but people do that all the time. It's like, I don't know. Hey, look at Three Boys Mom got a free membership. All right, this is Taylor Avenue, and look, right there. See that? Boom. See, Taylor Avenue stops right here, even though it's the same, obviously the same street, but then it becomes Willanta Drive, just right in the middle of the street. Hey, thanks, Amber Maiden. Look at that. She got 5 memberships for Just Mills, Jen Girl, Daisy Dead, Kidman, and Emiosa 35. Alright, so this is the road behind the house. And for those who haven't seen this, I'll show you here in a minute. This is all stuff that's going to be at the trial, by the way. So this building right here is 1119 King Road. And this building right over there is 1127. And see how you can see in the background? That is 1122 King Road. Let me make it bigger. Right there. That's where the homicides took place. Now just keep looking over there. Again, this is 1119 now, in those recent documents that came out, right here is when the vehicle is spotted driving out up on Willanta Drive. And that building right here is the 111, so 1112 King Road that has the camera on it, right there. All right, so that's filming. So as the car's driving by right here, that camera picks it up. Right, and it picks it up until probably right here. Boom, now it's cut off from this house, which is 1127 King Road. Now what's interesting about that one is also in the new documents released. I don't know if you can see it, but from right here, can you look back there? That's the parking area behind. There's 1122 King Road, and there's a parking area right back there. And see that? There's a vehicle right there. That is 500 Queen Road, that building right up on top there. In fact, if we look at it from above, it's basically like this. So we're on this road over here, and we can see 1122 right there. And then there's vehicles parked up here. Now, when the Elantra drives around on all of its passes, as it's turning right there, headlights hit the top of this building right there. And that's exactly what we're looking at. That building right there, when the headlights come around, they hit the top of that building, and that is also spotted on the 1112 King Road camera, and that's what they keep, timing the vehicle, and they're able to tell where it is. Hey, thanks, CR. Appreciate that. And also Amber Maiden and H. Doc for the generous membership giving. And look it up here. So this whole area up here, he can see down at that time of year. So I made sure to go out there. Well, I wanted to make sure I was there before they tore it down, but I wanted to get out there for sure and film it during a time of year where it looks similar, where there's no leaves on the trees or anything. So there's 1122 King Road. And then I turn around here. But look how interesting that is. See how that truck was driving there? I mean, he didn't see the DoorDash driver doing that, but he could see down there. Look at that. I mean, look how easy that is. And when he's driving back, he's in this lane too, so he's going down that direction right there. And then look at from right over here, for example. When he's driving down, that car right there is the security car in front of the house. And look how easy that is to see. So while he's driving, he could see that there was probably a car with his lights on there, the DoorDash driver. Because when he came back around at 4 o'clock and 15 seconds, he's at 4 o'clock and 15 seconds, he's right down there. And, he could look over there and see that there's still a car there. And I think that's why he then skipped it and went all the way around to Ridge Road. So on that one, when he was up here, let me make it bigger. When he's up here, he's right there at 4 o'clock and 15 seconds. The DoorDash driver is still in the parking lot over here, and then he didn't go in, and then he went around and got his fateful image missing a front license plate on Ridge Road right here. So because he went around the only time he went that direction. And there it goes again. There's 1122 King Road, the parking area up there. And then when you come around like this will be 1119 King Road, and you'll make out the 1112 King Road camera in just a second. Or not the camera, but the building. Right there. And then eventually you come back down, and then if you're here, this is going to be King Road coming up here. Now we're on King Road. This is what the Elantra did each time it drove in. I'm not sure what you're talking about, Gigi. I have no idea what you're referring to. God, that person's like a racist. Get rid of that person, the Gigi person. Like, block them from the channel. Wow, what a crazy person. Wow. Whew. Wow. All right, coming around. And look it. So right now, that camera's picking up the Elantra. This is, pretend you're the Elantra right now. That camera right there is picking it up. It also picked it up. Now let's just try to do it like this. This will be a good way to view this. Watch this. Right now. Boom. See that? There is the camera. It's just to the right from this view of that door right there. It's right where the telephone pole is. Probably should we go back another. Let me just play it and then hit pause. Right there. Yeah, so basically right around in this area, that camera picks up this vehicle, and that's the time that law enforcement gives on their timeline documents. Right when they see it. And then they describe what it does. Okay, then it goes south onto King Road, and then east on Queen. See, that's Queen Road, and that's what they say in the documents. And then when the vehicle is leaving the area, it talks about right there. Right when the vehicle passes and shows up on that camera going this direction, it describes the first sighting and then what the vehicle does. No, I can't enlarge it. Yeah. You'll just have to, I don't know how to do it on. I mean, I could try to do it, but I know, like on Google Earth, it uses its own cursor, even after you make it large. So look, it drives up this direction, and then this is what it does each time. It goes back behind 500 Queen Road. Well, of course they do, M. Morgan. I'm not sure why. The DoorDash driver is on the same camera that Kohberger's white Elantra is on. Okay? Well, yeah, if you watch my channel on TV, Lisa, you can watch it. And this is where it does the 3-point turn in one of the surveillance shots. But look how steep that is, you guys. It's like a 35-degree angle, probably. And then it goes way up here, and then the camera is right there, and then it loses him about right in this area, which means that he had a little bit to drive after he disappears from the camera. And then goes up here. This is behind 500 Queen Road. Then the vehicle goes in this direction, and then each pass it made, it parked for a small amount of time. But on pass number 1, it did stop for a minute, which is quite a bit of time. So that would be, right around like 3:30, 2-ish, I guess. But look at now, a minute ago, remember I was just showing you 1127? See right now, that's it right there. That's the building. So as the car's turning right now, the headlights hit the top of that building. And that's 1119 right there. I don't know, man. I always find that stuff interesting. I like being able to reverse engineer what law enforcement has. So there you go. And there's 1127 again right through there. Time for the victims' families to have a trial. Yeah, it is. Thanks, Suburban Trap Queen. I always like when people try to send people out and watch somewhere else. Thank you for your kindness. Jesus. I've lived there in the past, and yeah, when it snows, it absolutely sucks. Driving up all those hilly areas, yeah. Thanks for trying what, Cynthia? I don't know what you're saying. Thanks for trying gray. Make my cursor larger. Well, let's just see. Let me see if I can do it right now. One thing I was kind of experimenting with on Google Earth, though, see how it's kind of small on there? However, if you put a pin in, let's just do like a bus or something. Well, that's larger, right? Does that make, let me just see, is this easier to see now? Like if I go like that, is that easier to see than when the cursor was on there? See that? Like I could actually be going like that with the vehicle. Yeah, I would think that that's better than just this white cursor moving around. What do you think? I don't know. You have to select up on the screen somebody else who got one and then make yourself available. But yes, I need your guys' support on the channel. We're still not even close to a goal or anything like that, so I'd like to, have this show be one of the better types of shows to make up for 3 or 4 of the crappy days that we've had this month. I mean, really bad. I have the feeling that he might have broken in. Well, I said that on my show. I think that those 2 other driver's license or ID cards that they found in gloves were basically dry runs, or him practicing his craft of going into other people's homes at night. They just weren't the victims that he chose. Yeah, cool. Thanks, Richard Watts. Yeah, I mean, those other 2, it's going to be interesting. The other 2 IDs that they discuss at trial, where those came from, and then if those individuals perhaps had their house broke into at some point, That might be an interesting element that we haven't really thought of might exist at trial. I have, Gray. I really have. I did think it. Okay, go. Hey, thanks. Hey, thanks, wise child. Anybody have any questions about this here? Really just don't know. He is being charged with burglary. That's him breaking into the house. How about this? What is burglary? Entry into a building illegally with intent to commit a crime, especially theft. There you go. Got your answer. Yeah. Come on, don't you guys love the whiny voice? We did a poll last night. Only 35% didn't like it. They hated it, my whiny voice. But I think it's perfect. It's just, it actually represents exactly what these people appear to sound like in their crybaby comments that you see often, especially the pro-burgers and the Richard Allen lovers and the, yeah, it's just so, it's so bizarre, man, these cases. The people that follow the Delphi case, the Richard Allen, Odinist nutjobs are the same people in the Idaho 4 case that are pro-burgers. Same types. Everything makes complete sense, just not to them. Yep, I wonder if he didn't take something from the house. I wonder if he didn't take something? Is that the sort of the, you know, I wonder if he didn't take something from that house. Maybe. Let's see. I enjoy chat, but Gray's attitude turns me off. All right, see you later, suburban trap queen. You sound like a complete moron. Gray's attitude turns me off. I'm not trying to turn anybody on, suburban trap queen. I'm just trying to do a show. I didn't think this had sexual connotations. I'm just doing a show here. Wow, what a strange comment. Hey, thanks to Tina Humphrey. Appreciate it. Let's see. Yeah, and nobody cares that you're leaving. You're one of the freebie membership people. You didn't care anyways. You just got one, and you probably forgot that you even got that. Oh, I'm not. Like, she goes, you turned me off. It's like, well, I'm not trying to turn you on. I'm just doing a show, putting out the facts of a case. Pretty odd statement, to be honest with you. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Thank God for that. We're all Richard Allen. Yeah, look at these are the pro-burgers. See, this guy right here is a nut job. In the Delphi case, he went running outside when Richard Allen was found guilty, and he said this: "We are all Richard Allen." Except his voice doesn't sound like that. And then this is what he said. This is right here is exactly what the pro-burgers will say if the jury comes back and finds him guilty. Want to hear what it's going to say? Listen.
You pieces of shit got to the jury, didn't you?
He said that. That somebody got to the jury. Yeah. Hey, no problem, all-American man. Let's see. The shabby chicken. Thanks for supporting the charities. Hey, thanks, Tumbleweed. Very cool, very cool. Yeah, we need 2,000 more at the end of the month to reach the 250,000 mark. I'm hoping to, if I could. This month hasn't been that great, so if I can do like 3 or so at the end, that would be sweet. But we'll see how it goes. Is this today's review? What do you mean? I don't know what that means, Veronica. Yeah, we're just waiting for the trial to start. Or not trial, the hearing. This is just a, apparently they're doing the third-party suspect argument, but we're not going to get to see that. And then we're going to get to see the part about the continuance of the trial. So, let's see. So 31% of the people say 878 votes. Wow, that's cool to have 878 votes when we only have 652 watching. Nah, I don't agree with you. I don't agree with you, CB Canada. We'll have to wait and see how that all plays out. They haven't been charged with anything and nothing. Don't sell your book rights. You ask for money 20 times. I haven't, though, Justice. Your brain has quit functioning 20 times in the last 8 seconds. That's absolutely untrue. I'm not Richard Allen, but I'm not sitting and rotting in prison. That's true. But no, we're all Richard Allen, meaning that could happen to anybody. An innocent man that's confessed dozens of times, and then he gets convicted of murder when he himself places him at the crime scene. That could happen to anybody. Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, you're incorrect. Yeah, you're right, Justice. Your brain has malfunctioned 20 times in the last 8 minutes. Thank you for clarifying. All right. Should have been a detective, but then again, we wouldn't have this awesome content. Well, thank you. Yeah, but a minute ago, when we were listening to the DoorDash driver, it is interesting that she said, I parked right next to him. Because that means that he was already sitting here, probably right here. This is what I think. I really think he was right here. And then she must have pulled in while he was there, and that's what prompted him to take off. I think. I don't know. I mean, because Xana was awake anyways, so maybe he was sort of monitoring what was going on. It's hard to say, really. Anyways, I was just trying to be funny with the... I know what the person meant when they said it's a turn-off, meaning it's not, it's not interesting or whatever, or it makes her want to, oh. Yeah, well, what I think is even more of a turn-off is when somebody tries to redirect people somewhere else to watch something right during the person's live stream. I think that's a bigger turn-off. She might have foiled his entry earlier. Yeah, maybe. So this starts in 35 minutes. Idaho has been late every time regarding the hearing. Yeah, well, we got 35 more minutes to go here. It'd be great if we still had the same number of people that we had a few minutes ago, but we don't. So. Let's see. Yeah, I thought it was pretty funny. As you are leaving, just know that this channel donates as you are leaving, insane amount of money to true crime charities and funds genetic genealogy cases to give people their names back. Right. See, the trolls that I have out there, they never mention the stuff that we do, And I know people don't like that I say, hey, if you guys could help support the channel. But that's what I have to do to get the numbers to be able to do what I do. That's just the reality of it. And when I don't say anything, there's nights where it's just, I've tried it, man, just absolutely sets you back almost the whole month. Thanks for what you do and giving me the visual evidence to fight the pro-burgers. That's right. Yeah, no, it's crazy. It's easy. So when something is true, it's easy to debate with somebody. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy to do that because you know what like in the Kanika Jenkins case, for example. She's the girl that died in Chicago in a hotel freezer, right? And everybody goes, "Oh, it was organ harvesting. It was just crazy. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen." And I was the only person on anywhere, everywhere. I mean, even Nancy Grace and all of them were putting out some complete garbage, and I was the only one that was actually looking at it for what it was. And I purchased the entire surveillance. It cost, I think it was $50. It was a FOIA request, $50, and then they sent you a hard drive, and I had every bit of the surveillance footage that was available. And I tracked her all the way through. She walks into the kitchen, and she got stuck in the freezer and died. There wasn't another person anywhere. But of course, that's where the nut jobs come in and say, "Oh, look at, ooh, that's edited. Look at," it's just crazy people. Let's see. Thank you, Cynthia Hagen. Yep, we got 30 more minutes to go. There must be some Karen Reed stuff coming out because about 100 people left. Or maybe it was my joke. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, the DoorDash driver, if she sort of helps corroborate, somehow visually saw him doing something, then it's meaningful. Other than that, it's just timing. It's just, oh yeah, when she was there, he parked there. I mean, what if she only observed that he was parked and he was looking at the house? Some people suggest that maybe she parked as a DoorDash driver in the back because she was going to deliver it down that hill. I don't know. That sort of seems weird. Like, I mean, that'd be creepy to park there. I think he must have been parked on the side there, and maybe she'll testify that he seemed to be looking when she pulled in. But I mean, here's the thing: if she pulled in and he's sitting there, his eyes wouldn't still be focused on the window. He would have turned and looked at her coming in, and they would have left. So I don't know. I guess we'll have to see how that goes. Well, I want Karen Reed to go free, just so that the case is over and done with forever. That's really the only reason that I have. Other than that, is because if she's found guilty, or it's another hung jury, this is just going to go on and on and on and suck the oxygen out of the true crime community again for a long, long time. Alright, so anyways, maybe back to this. See, if you park back here, it's a pretty steep hill down to the patio. And then, if you park right over here, though, look how little it's just a really small little hill that you go up right there. Really short. So it could be that he parked here. He would use, on each of his loops, for example, let me go all the way over to here. Maybe you would park here, just kind of slow down for a minute and look into Madison Mogen's room, just for like 2 seconds. And then maybe he would park down here for the majority of that time. Or maybe on pass number 1, he sat for a minute. Maybe he sat for a minute back here watching, and then he left. But his plan was to be closer to exiting when he committed the homicides, because if you're back here, you could get trapped. Like, unless a car comes up here and you can't get out of there. If you're down there, you can just, boom, turn left and you're gone. Yeah. I think in the Karen Reed case, I think that her rear headlights were that one was already broken before she backed in. I'm almost certain of that. So whatever that means, it means. I think they overcharged her anyways. Yeah, I mean, he could see through Xana's window from right here. Even where that maroon car is. Let's see. So you could see the lights on, but maybe he parked right there. I mean, just a little bit further. Right here. And then she pulls in. I mean, can't you just picture that? Like, he's right there, and his driver's side is actually on the left side. He's facing the wrong way, but this is kind of a driveway, sort of, So maybe he's facing this direction, and she pulls in right there, and that's why I parked right next to him. Then he drives out around this corner and out. See that? Doesn't that make sense? And the cars, so this car would probably have to be a little bit further out. So I would say, see where this fence is? About 2 feet back is where another car would be able to park with those other cars that were already there. Remember how there was 4 cars or so there? It was like Ethan's Jeep and other vehicles right there. So you'd have to park kind of back where this vehicle is, but facing the other direction. That's what it is, jealousy, because you have a great loyal subscriber member. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Veronica. I wish I had way more, like a lot more people watching, It's just sometimes it gets frustrating. And I feel like I'm putting out content that's better than these people that do the same thing, they just kind of stare at the screen and converse, and it's like, well, man, I'm trying to actually get people to see what the reality is. Derek said 672 watching, 331 likes. I see 459 likes and 606 viewers. But I only have a 6 minute and 59 second average watch time. That sucks. Man, I can't even hold people here for 6 minutes. That's incredible. Yeah, this is a good, it's not even a picture, it's a 360 degree video. Look, I mean, I can look anywhere. These cameras are revolutionary. I think cop cars should have a version of like these 8K. This is only 5.7K. I have the new one now. It's 8K, and they should strap them to the top of their vehicles, and when they pull up to a crime scene, they turn them on, and boom, you can see everything. Yeah, and watch this, though. Watch this, though, Salt Cubes. Watch this. This is actually a video, not just a still frame that's 360. Watch. So now you can look around in any direction at any time, anywhere. It's as if you're really there. And if you happen to have goggles, 3D goggles, and I uploaded this onto YouTube as a 360 degree video, you could literally stand in a chair or stand up, and it would feel like you were walking, and you could look around with your own eyes all over the place. All right, so we got 25 more minutes. Thanks, Mallory Beavers. Oh, you sent a coffee. All right. Thanks, Mallory, for the coffee. Oh, hold on. All right. All right, so this is a good spot. Again, I'm just, people are showing up in and out. So this is 111. I mean, okay, 1112 King Road is this building right here. That's that building, and that Ring doorbell camera is the key. I mean, it's literally one of the most important elements of the entire case. In fact, I would say, other than the DNA on the knife sheath, this camera here is incredibly valuable. If that camera didn't exist, I would say if that camera didn't exist and the 1330 Linda Lane camera didn't exist, I don't know how you'd even know that a white Elantra was driving around. This camera right here is absolutely incredible. It picks up everything. And then, I don't know if you can see right up there, that's Willanta Drive. That camera, from this angle, that camera right there, it was at the time, picks up the Elantra driving right back there. Hey, thanks, Landy8. Pray the trial's not delayed. Me too. Right there. Now, check it out. Well, we'll see that in a minute. But there it is right there. When the vehicle's driving up here, that camera picks it up. And also, see that building right there? That's the building that I explained earlier in this live stream, that when the vehicle is up there turning down that little side driveway right there, the headlights hit the top of that building, and again, this camera picks it up, so it knows where the Elantra is back behind. Isn't that amazing? All right, now let's go to the end part. So look at this interesting way to look at this. So if we go up here, right there, see how there's this hill that comes up? Now on one time, on pass number 4, when he did the 3-point turn back here and came back this direction, notice how when the car's up this high, the headlights would hit that building right there, right? So just kind of picture how law enforcement's doing this. When the vehicle is up this high, the headlights would be hitting up high on that building. You get what I'm saying? Now if we went backwards, down the hill a little bit, the headlights then start going down on that building there. That's how they know that the car was doing that. And then when it makes it to the bottom, it adjusts, and then they can see the headlights moving around, doing whatever it's doing, and they're able to kind of determine what the car is doing. And then it eventually, on that one, it pulls forward and does another 3-point turn right over here, and then comes back the same direction again. And it's probably trying to check out, you know, anything that was associated with that vehicle or the DoorDash driver that was parked there. But thanks for those of you who've stayed here. I know there's bigger channels and everything that start going live, and then it's like, oh, I gotta go there. Ooh. And just really frustrating. But it is what it is. So this is what it looks like back there. Right underneath there is the surveillance camera that films this area down here. This is this little narrow little thing. So how many times do you think Kohberger had to go out there before he realized this exists back here? Like, he must have been out here, you know, all those times he came, he was scouting out, and then he realized, ooh, I could drive around. The first time he went there, he probably turned up that side road that's right over here, that little driveway. And then he was like, hey, what's that? And he's just kind of scouting out, and he drove around. And he goes, oh, wow, look, it comes out around behind there. I can do that. You know, take the less direct route. And that way I also don't have to turn around. Because if he drove up this direction right here, he'd have to kind of do a 3-point turn and turn around. This way, he can come up here, up high, and then turn to the right. See? Right there. And maybe he parked right there on the final pass. But right in these areas, you can see right into Madison Mogen's room. Look at that. Right there. Pretty sweet, pretty sweet. So if you're just getting here, in 19 minutes is when it starts. All right, so hang out. Well, thanks, wise child. Yeah, this is where you get to see reality. Well, all the cases, Linda. Anyways, thanks. I cover all the, you know, the cases that are the bigger ones that I spend the time on with the same, exact same strategy, etc. Yeah, let's not have the massive lulls in here. We got to make this today one of those good days that counts. It's insane when I was standing on top there. You can imagine him parking there and just looking right into the room. Yeah. Well, on those videos that I did with my GoPro, I just pull in there and you can see right into the, the headlights were hitting right into the window. I'm sure, by the way, that after he made the turn, he turned off his car for a moment, kept the headlights off, then turned them back on again. I think he didn't want his headlights beaming into Madison Mogen's bedroom, so right when he's turning, he would turn it off, in my opinion. Well, we don't know that, Tumbleweed. Thanks, Kaylee. Thanks for being here. Gray works hard to bring factual content with his unmatched mapping skills to each case. Please subscribe, like, and join. Thanks, Kaylee. And B, sir. Thank you. So what mods are still here? Looks like we've got a few. Now we're down to 568 people. I guess I should have came on later when it was about to happen. And there's the sliding glass door. I always think these are the... You sent a... CA? Oh, cool. Thank you, CR. Very kind. Cash App. I don't think Dylan was actually like that. I think she was just looking... It's more like in my animation that I made. But I think that's similar. That's what it looked like. She could see the balaclava guy, Bryan Kohberger, with his bushy eyebrow, and then he turns. I just saw like this bushy eyebrow. I don't even know if I saw a person. I just saw an eyebrow. Oh, man. Yep. So look where Dylan is. That's one of the things that I think everybody should think about more. Is Dylan Mortensen is in just a horrendous place. Right above her head is Madison Mogen. So like if you were in that room, and right above her head right now maybe is like the hallway, but where her bed is right below Madison Mogen's bed. All right, that where I have the bed in that room. So if we were going to go back, let me just go into her room again. Madison Mogen's right there. So anything that happened up there, she heard it. See that? Like, it's just crazy. So her bedroom is like half of this up there, boom. And then if you look at it from the next shot, Xana Kernodle, if you just go out that hallway, it's just right there, and see, and her room even extends out past the kitchen window there, and that's where the blood was coming out outside. Yep. All right. Hey, look at that. Linda Cosma, 27 months. All right. Moldberger wearing boots or Vans? Anyone? I don't know what he was wearing. They said they found Van-style footprints outside Dylan Mortensen's room. What does that mean? I don't know. Who the hell knows? Mm-hmm. Now that animation I made took forever. That thing, those things take, just so much time. We keep just purging people. I guess I'm just not entertaining enough, Moldberger wearing boots or Vans, anyone? Hey, thanks, CR. Wow, look at that. 5 channel memberships. Very kind. So his daughter, Porter, Just My Opinion, Kyle. I think I remember you. Just Kristen and Jay Rockin. Should we do another poll? Who's got a poll question? Listening at work. All right. All right. Well, if she has the same, like a size 13 shoe, then, we don't know that for sure, though, Patricia. Let's see. A lot of people just, you see somebody on another channel, and then they say something, and then everybody believes it. We don't know. We got to wait for trial for something like that. Things like video, like when 1330 Linda Lane came out, that was absolutely true. Hey, look at that. It just shifted over here. Okay. So that's already live, it says. Okay. Shit, here we go, man. It's coming. As I keep purging and purging. Come on. Hey, if you don't want to watch my channel, just get the hell out of here. Okay? I'm just sick of it, man. Yeah, if you think there's somebody just different or better, then go watch them. I can only do as good as I can do. I'm the only person that has the 360-degree views, etc., the models, if you want to go watch somebody just staring at the screen, telling you the same, well, it's really interesting today. We'll have to see if Bryan Kohberger's defense team can convince the judge to delay the trial for a while. Now, the arguments, who gives a crap? Let's just hear what they say at this thing, all right? State of Idaho Judicial Branch coming up. DoorDash have video of Kohberger. I mean, that would be pretty crazy if she has video that we just haven't heard about. Yeah, I don't know. Is a clown actually doing a live stream? That'd be pretty strange. Yep, almost time. Yeah, let's go ahead and watch that guy. Hey, everybody! Today, Bryan Kohberger is... Yeah. Only a female Sasquatch wears size 13. So Dylan has a picture in Vans. Well, I guess she could have stepped on it then, but if they're not size 13, then it's not her. Grizo. Oh yeah, I'll turn those off. I hate those things. Turn off the live reactions. There we go. But if she wanted a style wasn't available in women's, then she'd have to size up. Oh God. Oh my God. Oh Jesus, KR. Oh God. I mean, why don't we try to twist a pretzel into a bagel? I mean, Jesus. So many people own vans. I have 1 million pair. I have none. Yeah. I thought everybody had 3.5 pairs of those. You know, like the Elantra. Let's see. People will remember to click on the like and donate if you can. Even a low dollar amount. That's what Cynthia said. It adds up. Gray works hard to bring us his findings. Jury coming back for Karen Reed. Verdict. Oh, is that why everybody took off? Okay. Well, hopefully they come back after that. And now there are a lot more people who are going to leave right now after you type that in. Yeah. Thanks, Elena. We'll see you guys in a little bit. Court hearing starting, though, in 8 minutes. I think Elena is sort of like a slight, almost a troll. It's the weirdest thing. Every comment she makes has some kind of, you know, it's sort of a, yeah, it's never just sort of the flow with everybody else. All right, let's see. And while the thing's going on, if somebody wants to put in the chat that, you know, whatever the verdict outcome was, that'd be great. I don't really care. I won't speak. I mean, I might mention it if there's a break in something, but we're just going to follow along. Valerie, Fan, and CR joining the wave. All right. Yeah, troll tendencies. Yeah, it's just kind of strange how you do that. You see, they're always sort of something. Got a big argument the other night, and, well, who knows? And actually, I don't even know. The thing that we were arguing about, it seemed like later, what was that topic? Oh, yeah, it was a Karen Reed, the light in the back. Yeah. I think her rear headlight was broken before she backed into that car slightly. All right. I think I proved it on there. But what does that mean? Shay 530 said, oh, what if I gave you $1 million? I'm just kidding. Couldn't pay me to leave, she said. Well, thank you. And there's CR and Valerie Fan. Linda Cosma and Ali Cake. Hey, thank you guys. Very kind. What do you guys think about the possibility that the United States might get involved in and launch the bunker busting bomb to take out the Iranians' nuclear facility? I'm 100% for it myself. You can't allow a country like that to have nukes. That's where the civilization's in danger. And this is the one shot to do it. And I would say that would be it. And then after that, you know, that would be the only interaction. You'd have to consider leaving for $1 million. Yeah. I look at. I would actually say this. Well, I mean, if another party was paying you the $1 million, I would say, yeah, take off and then come back. We'll split it. Just kidding. I think we won't send through. Probably going to happen. Yeah. I think it needs to happen. And that might be our only involvement. And, you know, like really limited other than that. All right. Well, we've got, well, it should be starting in 4 minutes. Don't know. Okay. So that's actually streaming at this point, it looks like. Okay, so I have it playing. It's right there. Yep, she's got the verdict. I am praying for the sake of the true crime community that she's found not guilty, even though maybe that's not justice or whatever, if you don't think so. There's no verdict? Oh, shit. It's another hung jury? They better just drop it this time. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because it'll keep going for years and years and years and sucking the life out of every other case that needs to be discussed. Hey, are you still out there, Cheryl Moran? I wonder if she listens while she's working or something. Hey, they just announced that there is no court case today. They had to cancel because a juror was sick. I see. There's no verdict. I see. So everybody took off because of nothing. Wait, what are you talking about? They're taking a break, coming back, so we don't know anything. Well, what was Patricia talking about? They just announced that there's no court case today. They had to cancel because who's a juror? I mean, a juror was sick? What case are you talking about? Thanks, Vicky Kennedy. Yeah, I don't either, Cheryl. I did one live stream, just a incredibly limited focus on only if the rear headlight, what the deal is with the rear headlight. And I feel like it was already broken before she slightly backed into that car at her boyfriend's house or whatever. Or maybe it was her house. I can't remember where that was. Oh, that's the Diddy trial? Cares? My God, man. All right, we've got, 1 minute is when it's supposed to start. I haven't seen him start on time yet. Yeah, I don't either, Urban Infidel. That case never really grabbed me where I found it interesting. I don't know why. I love this case. To me, the Kohberger case is so interesting. I like just being able to, what I do, I think pretty well is I'm able to back engineer what law enforcement is saying and how they came up with that, and sort of visually show people what is being said. And that's why when I look at information, I see it and I go, oh man, this is devastating, because I see exactly what they're saying. And that's why even after the probable cause document came out in this case, I was like, man, this guy did it. And now it's just way worse. It got worse and worse and worse. Nothing has come out that's helped Kohberger where you go, oh, whoa, look at that. That's interesting. Not one thing has come out. And that's one of the things you got to look at. You would think over time that something would come out that would have told a different story that would help Kohberger if he didn't do it, but nothing. What does that mean, Gracie? Nobody knows what that means. Just shabby. I'm the same, not interested in either Karen Reed or Diddy. Now, we covered Diddy 1 or 2 nights one time, kind of went over some stuff, but then, to me, it's just, I don't know, you know what I'm interested in is, kind of a mystery. Cold cases are interesting to me. And then ones like this, where there's so much information that's been put out there, but we still don't have all of it, and then just watching the pieces put together. And this case, the Kohberger case, is interesting because we don't see this very often. Kohberger was acting as a serial killer. He didn't get, that was a mass killing. But, it wouldn't be considered a serial killer, but that's what he was acting as, and I think he was going to continue on and kill more people. And it's just because he killed all 4 of them in basically cold blood, because they didn't have any knowledge of him or know him at all or anything. And he's just killing them because he wants to. And that is weird. And that's where when people go, what's the motive? Well, there isn't one sometimes. Yeah, Gilgo is a good one, too. I like that one. I've been covering that for years. And I've done the same thing in that case by mapping out all of the different places. And, you know, I've covered that a lot. But as usual, when I'm covering it, it always gets overwhelmed by the bigger channels, and they suck everybody out of sort of the medium-sized channels. It's really kind of sad. Well, this is the live shot right here, so, and it's playing. There, maybe I'll go like this. Yep. There you go. It's playing right there. Is Papa Roger in here? No, he's in jail. He's in prison. I think it's interesting that Papa Rogers disappeared at the same time that Kohberger was arrested. Didn't, you know, people go, well, no, Gray, he commented on... Well, I mean, how come he didn't continue to post and comment all over the place? And, you know... I think there's a good chance that Papa Rogers is Bryan Kohberger. I'm not saying he is, but I think there's a good chance. All right, everybody, let's hit that like button really quick. Really simple. Here we go. Hit that like button 10, 20, 25, 30. Hit that like button 40, 45, 50. Use your nose, use your toes, whatever blows. Hit that like button 10, 20. Hit that like button 40, 45, 50. Hit that like button 60, 65, 70. Hit that like button 80, 85, 90. All right, there you go. And now we have a different crowd in here tonight. Let me say this, because last night we were talking about the knife sheath. And I believe the knife sheath was left as a calling card. And the reason I believe the knife sheath was left as a calling card is because Kohberger was trying to do all the cliche serial killer things. And he wanted to leave a calling card. And he was going to leave a knife sheath at all the different killings he was going to perform in the future. He must have cleaned the knife really well, only missing a tiny little spot on the underside of the button snap. Why would he clean a knife sheath if he intended to take it with him? But he left it there intentionally, missing cleaning off that little tiny spot on the button snap, and that's what led to him. All right, that's what I think. So here's what we're going to do. We'll do another poll on that one. And I know most people don't agree, but did Kohberger leave the knife sheath as a calling card? And I think he did it because he wanted to, like, ooh, the K-Bar killer. It sounded really cool. And then later, if he ever got caught, it'd be Kohberger, the K-Bar killer. I bet he thought of all those things. Well, it's also BK as Bryan Kohberger. Thank you, M. Morgan. And thank you, Valerie Fan. And thank you, CR. And Papa Rogers mentioned the knife sheath. I don't know if he mentioned it to put emphasis on it. My thing on the Papa Rogers mentioning of the knife sheath does not show that he's Kohberger. Because the thing is law enforcement had already come out and said that they're looking for a fixed blade knife, and then we heard that they're looking for a K-bar knife. So then he said, well, how did they know a weapon's a K-bar knife? Knife wound, you can't tell if it's a K-bar or another brand or anything like that. And then he assumed that, they must have found the sheath. And so that's sort of a logical deduction. But it's interesting that account is the one that came up with that. Yeah, Kohberger is. He's like a cliche of serial killer, you know. That's what he's just trying to like do all the cool things that he learned in his classes. Surveilling the area. He used a K-bar knife like Danny Rawlings did. You know, Danny Rawlings actually bought a K-bar knife and then he snuck through sliding glass doors. I mean, my God, everybody. It's crazy. Maybe he sat in that chair for a similar reason. How sometimes the killers sort of linger around for a while. Sometimes they even eat something out of the refrigerator. Hey, thanks, Eagles, Stars, and Stripes. I'm not sure when it's actually going to start. What do you think, Lisa Valenzuela? Any other interesting elements in this today that came out? State supplemental response. No. So anytime they're like 1 or 2 pages, there's nothing in them. They're just... So this one is the defendant's reply. That one's pretty big. The court hereby confirm. Okay. Back to the screen. Ann and Elise. Oh, yeah. Is that... Who is that? Is that another YouTuber? I don't know what that is. Who Ann and Elise is. It's really almost time now. Yeah, well, it's already past... It's 9 minutes past the time. Well, we did get up to like 700 people for a little bit there. Now down to 455. No, I haven't seen any news on Jonathan Clark. That's a weird one, though, isn't it? You know what's weird about Jonathan Clark's case? Shouldn't that be a lot bigger? Like that one is crazy. I mean, you know, they actually have the audio and a little bit of video of him being shot, and you know, there's talking, and it seems like that would have been a great one for social media to pick up on and dig around and maybe help law enforcement get some answers or put pressure on them anyways. Oh, I don't know who that is. Oh, here we go.
Be seated.
I'm just seeing which one of these looks better. I got to start over on here. Hold on.
All right, this is CR0124316665, State v. Kohberger. On behalf of the state, we have Mr. Thompson and Mr. Horowitz.
Just a second, I'm going to change this up a little bit.
When you know the defendant is present with counsel, Ms. Taylor, Ms. Massoth, and Ms. Barlow. This is the time set for, or at least the public portion of today's hearing, is set for the motion to continue the trial filed by the defense. So we'll start with that.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Your Honor, our motion to continue has been filed and is necessary to protect Bryan Kohberger's rights under the United States Constitution and the Constitution of the State of Idaho. Specifically, a continuance is necessary to protect his due process rights, his rights to a fair trial, his rights to effective assistance of counsel, rights to confrontation, Mr. Kohberger's right to present a full defense, and if it should come to it, a fair sentencing hearing, and to be free of cruel and unusual punishment. The record of this case spans 2.5 years, and it shows that this request does not come as a surprise. Looking through the history of this case shows that the defense has met challenges and difficulties along the way, but has been dedicated in meeting all of the deadlines. We have talked about the discovery issues in this courtroom before, and that in large part brings us to need a continuance. 68 terabytes of information is a huge amount of information. There have been 23 requests for additional discovery over the span of 2.5 years, and 7 motions to compel. When I say that this doesn't come as a surprise, that this comes from the record, I would direct the court to look back to May of 2023 and June of 2023, and our second motion to compel. Included in that was what was known as Exhibit A from the defense, and that depicted how we were receiving discovery. So this is not a new issue. This is something that's been coming up for a long time. We were receiving discovery, but it was such that you would get a file that would say hundreds of photographs, hundreds of pages of reports, each having to be looked at individually to know what was there and then organized. This case has also faced unique issues, starting with the media coverage of this high-profile case, non-dissemination orders that were addressed in courts, and then the grand jury materials that we had to fight to get access to before we could properly challenge the grand jury indictment. We faced issues with discovery, particularly with the IGG materials. We spent a great deal of time trying to get access to those materials. Those were ultimately, what we could get was ultimately presented in a motion to suppress, and that's preserved should there be a conviction in this case. We faced venue issues in this case, culminating in the change of venue and bringing us to Ada County. At the first hearing in this courtroom, we discussed the discovery issues and not having read everything and being ready with a full investigation in this case. That was apparent through our motions to strike the death penalty, our motions to compel expert disclosures filed in September and December of 2024, and requests for more time to file our motions in limine that was granted in January of 2025. Throughout the course of the motions in limine and then a motion to strike death based on discovery issues in February and March of this year, the record is replete with notice that we are not prepared to go to trial in this case. The discovery is vast and we have not had a chance to review it all. That we met deadlines for experts shows our dedication to comply with court orders. It does not depict effective counsel ready to go to trial on this case.
That means
we
you're
would
lazy.
submit that it's the court's responsibility to assess this motion to continue with heightened due process that's required in death penalty cases. The death penalty case is different. That comes from Ford versus Wainwright at 477 U.S. 399 at 411. The court must be sensitive to safeguard every avenue of due process. The Idaho Supreme Court said the qualitative difference between death and other penalties calls for a greater degree of reliability when death is imposed, and that comes from State versus Creech, 105 Idaho, 362 at 383. Looking at all of the constitutional rights Mr. Kohberger has, effective assistance of counsel really becomes the crux of how all of these other rights are covered for Mr. Kohberger. And effective assistance of counsel applies both to the merits phase and the penalty phase of a death penalty case.
Show more interest.
The courts are guided and counsel is guided by the American Bar Association guidelines on capital cases. Wiggins versus Smith, 539 U.S. 510 at 524, said the ABA guidelines are guides to determine what is reasonable. And that's talking about reasonable performance by defense counsel in a capital case. The Ninth Circuit in Andrews versus Davis at 944 F3D 1092 at 1109 relies on the ABA guidelines as the proper measure to test an attorney's investigation. In Idaho, our public defender statutes reference the ABA guidelines as applying to indigent defense. These apply to the full investigation of the merits phase and require us to raise all legal claims. They require us to perform a background on all witnesses that might be called, especially those being called by the state. That means that we have to review all discovery to be able to present a full defense for Mr. Kohberger. We cannot present what we are not aware of. I would note for the court that discovery has been ongoing. I received discovery just this week. It is discovery that I have not reviewed yet. Considering what's required at a penalty phase in a capital case, we're required to perform in a way that the jury can carry out their function of individualized sentencing. That means that Mr. Kohberger's background has to be known and investigated and ready to present to the jurors. Evidence of his character has to be known and ready to present to the jurors, and his circumstances have to be known and ready to present to the jurors. That's addressed in the Woodson case and in the Lockett case. The jury must have the opportunity to consider all evidence that may weigh against the death penalty, and that means anything from his life history. It is the duty of the defense to find and investigate all mitigating information. We do have several experts that would be ready for the mitigation portion of the case, should the case reach that phase, and they rely on understanding family history and Mr. Kohberger's own history. They can only understand what they've been presented, and the investigation to fully evaluate needs to be thorough. That means that records have to be collected. That means that interviews, collateral interviews have to be done, and those have not all been completed. And it's not because of a lack of diligence in this case. Further, when things that are noted as red flags arise, those things must be investigated. Red flags aren't fanciful ideas of what else could we do in this case. They're real things that come up in the course of the investigation, and whether or not they're important to mitigation and presentation for a jury's consideration requires time to investigate and collect records. Documentation is very important. The court's aware that red flags have come up and they require further investigation. Those are issues that may mean a lot to the experts that would be ready to testify, but they can't be presented until there's a full investigation. They are things that might change the course of the evaluation or might require us to have an additional expert to help explain certain circumstances. And that's important for the individualized sentencing that's required by the Constitution. Your Honor, there have been numerous challenges with gathering records and interviewing collateral witnesses. I know the court is aware of some of those particular issues. I'm not going to highlight them now, but it's imperative that we be able to collect records and conduct interviews from other family members besides just Mr. Kohberger and his parents. And it's also imperative that his history be complete with educational records, medical records, and those things are still being done to this day. The other reason that a continuance is appropriate in this case is based on the media coverage, the Dateline issue that has been talked about in this courtroom before, and what's yet to come. The Dateline episode wasn't just a one-time deal back in May. That continues to be talked about. Everything that happens in this case continues to be talked about, and this court has a duty, a responsibility to make sure that Mr. Kohberger receives a fair trial. That comes from Shepard versus Maxwell, 384 U.S. 333. And a continuance may be the way that the court can best protect Mr. Kohberger. That comes from Patton versus Yount, 467 U.S. 1025. In addition to what is going on with what happened with the Dateline episode, that's not all. There's a book set to be released just a few weeks from now to be followed by a docuseries on Amazon Prime. There's a claim that there's inside sources that provide information in this case. At the very least, the moment we start attempting to select a jury in this case, those things are going to be on everybody's TV, everybody's social media feed, and some of the very witnesses that will be expected to testify will be taking part in the docuseries at least, and maybe noted in the book. That is, in and of itself, an exceptional reason for us to have a continuance to let those things play out for a while. I would also note, Your Honor, that jury selection is going to be particularly challenged and will need a great deal of time based on what's happened in the media and continues to happen. Your Honor, our request is for a continuance in this matter to allow us to be effective and perform our constitutional duty for Mr. Kohberger, to protect his constitutional rights, to make sure that we have fully investigated all mitigating circumstances so the jury, if it comes to it, can perform their individualized sentencing, judgment, and function, and to allow some space between what's recently happened in the media. Thank you.
First time I've heard this guy. He's the new guy.
Of course.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will, I think, address Ms. Taylor's arguments sort of in the reverse order in which she raised the issues that she raised. I want to begin, though, by bringing us and the court back to what the standard is for this motion to continue as opposed to what might happen after a conviction with respect to ineffective assistance of counsel. Right now, the standard is whether denying a continuance would violate the defendant's rights by causing unfair prejudice. And that is an objective standard that the court has, and the court has discretion on all motions to continue, including a motion to continue in a case such as this that involves the death penalty. What the defendant and counsel are asking the court to do is delay this trial because of their subjective, prospective beliefs about how an ineffective assistance of counsel evaluation would happen by an appeals court if there is a conviction. What this court should do is use its discretion and look at the objective record. The record supports denying the motion based on what the defense has been doing, continues to do, and will continue to do through the mitigation phase until the penalty phase, including presenting mitigation evidence that the jury will ultimately decide about if there is a conviction. The lens that the court should look at is well stated, through which the court should look at this motion is well stated in some Idaho case law and others. And if I can turn on the Elmo, do I need to hit this button, Your Honor?
I think clerk needs to switch it over.
Okay, thank you. So these are cases that we cited in our brief, and I wanted to start my discussion with them. I'll read the top case, which is an Idaho Supreme Court case, evaluating whether counsel was effective in a death penalty case. Counsel was not required to investigate defendant's entire life in order to objectively and reasonably present mitigation evidence. And then I like the way that the Seventh Circuit sort of rephrased the same principle by saying, I won't read the entire quote, Your Honor, but a scorch the earth strategy is not required. We're in a standard of reasonableness. And the record that is before the court, and I'll acknowledge we have not seen what specifics, if any, the defense has put forward in its ex parte filing.
It's kind of hard for you, I recognize.
It does, but we have not seen specifics. I did not hear any specifics from counsel just now about these witnesses need to be contacted, these records need to be obtained. And then the court, I think, mentioned at prior hearing we had when this was motion to continue was first raised, that the court would be looking at what admissible evidence the defense needs to obtain and what strategies would actually be used to fruitfully obtain that evidence. And we don't have anything specific that we can respond to about that. So I'm at a bit of a disadvantage, Your Honor, but I think the record that we do have shows that the court can use its discretion to deny this motion to continue. What we did in our response brief, Your Honor, was to cite the fact that the defense has identified 55 defense witnesses for mitigation, and I think one was recently added, so we're up to 56, 132 exhibits to use at the mitigation phase. And with respect to the ABA standards, we're not saying the court should completely ignore them, but what we are saying is that the court should look at them for what they are, which is a retrospective tool for appellate courts to look at the performance of counsel after a conviction, not some checklist that needs to be religiously adhered to in order to actually get to trial. Even if the court were to rely on them heavily, though, the charts that we put together show that for each of the ABA guidelines categories that the defense has raised, we have seen evidence in the record that shows that they have witnesses to talk about those issues and they have discovery on those issues themselves. Now, defense has called that superficial, but we would ask the court to look at the tables and look at the witnesses that we've been able to identify for each category and also the discovery in the record. So, Your Honor, again, we think that given the legal standards here on a motion to continue, given the court's discretion, given that we are in a world where the court needs to satisfy itself that defense has done a reasonable job to prepare for trial, there is no basis for a motion to continue. Now let me turn to some of the specific arguments, and I can take this down, Your Honor, that Ms. Taylor raised. With respect to the media coverage, we acknowledge, as the court has, that will pose challenges for jury selection. The issue, though, is not whether there is a lot of publicity. We know there's going to be a lot of publicity regardless of when this trial happens. As Ms. Taylor said, people will continue to talk about this case. The issue is whether the court, using the procedures it has established or maybe even modifying them as the court wants to, can seat a panel of impartial jurors. The Supreme Court of Idaho has found that despite widespread publicity, even on the day of jury selection, that is possible. That is possible in this case, despite the challenges. The other thing I would mention with respect to the publicity is that it puts us at the whim of the media. Every time there's a breaking story, every time there's a new book or a new documentary, are we going to continue the trial indefinitely? And that seems to be the danger in what the defense is asking for. We call it a perpetual continuance, and we haven't seen a proposal about when this trial could take place, if there's a continuance. What seems to be the strategy here is just to delay. And that leads me to, I think, the other point that Ms. Taylor raised, which was to say that this shouldn't be a surprise. It is a surprise to us that a motion to continue was made so late in the game, after, by the way, the trial date was used to oppose an extension that we filed for with respect to our mental health expert. At that point, the defense said we can't possibly go down this road or give the government the state what it wants because of the trial date. Once that issue is resolved, then we get a motion to continue. So I think what we have seen from the defense is that they tried to use the mass amount of discovery to remove the death penalty from the table. When that failed, now we have a motion to continue. So I do think timing is relevant here. Again, and it's not just that the defense waited so long, it's that we now have a very substantial record on which the court can deny this motion based on everything that's been put in front of the state and the court. In terms of the mitigation investigation, Your Honor, we believed, but did not have confirmation that the defense had a mitigation specialist until the reply brief on this motion alluded to an affidavit that mitigation specialist submitted. So I don't know what that says. I don't know what the mitigation specialist has said, but the fact that there is a mitigation specialist, apart from the 3 attorneys and 2 investigators that are part of the defense team, that person has one role, as I understand it, which is to prepare for the penalty phase if we get there. And that person, that specialist, has still time to continue doing whatever work they told the court they need to do. Your Honor, again, I would try to get back to the record and ask the court to look at the objective record when evaluating this motion. 55 mitigation witnesses, over 130 exhibits, a very robust team on the defense side, which includes their retained experts. Ms. Taylor, and in the briefing, really honed in on this idea of a social life history for the defendant. I don't know if the court has read the expert reports of the defendant's forensic psychiatrist and then the licensed psychologist. I won't discuss the details in open court, but our position is that both of those specialists, well-trained, very experienced specialists, conducted significant, fulsome life history investigations. They weren't just looking at bare records. They were talking to people from the defendant's past, from his present, his family, and developed parallel life histories. And in their reports, as I read them, no red flags that needed further investigation were noted. Nothing about those reports appeared to be incomplete. And the experts didn't say, we are unable to reach the conclusions we need to reach for lack of investigation. So I think that is sort of proof in the pudding. We have a life history for the defendant. The defense has amassed significant materials. And I thought we were going to be solely talking about the mitigation case that still needs to be developed. That is not a basis for a continuance. And to the extent there are ongoing discovery from the state that Ms. Taylor alluded to, I can represent that most of what was just turned over was our investigators speaking with witnesses that the defense has disclosed. So that's the nature of that discovery, is us responding to discovery from the defense. And that will continue, of course, to occur as we lead up to trial and witnesses make statements that we need to disclose to the defense. So with that, Your Honor, I would again rest on the case law holding that a scorch the earth investigation is not what's required. And on the record before the court should exercise its discretion to deny the motion. If the court has any questions, I'm happy to answer those. Otherwise, we would submit on the record before the court.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I wonder if that's all they're going to do today, is just that.
Any reply?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, is there going to be a Sir rebuttal too?
I would start with noting that if the new discovery is the state's contact of witnesses we've listed, the state knows that there are mitigation witnesses that we've listed because we had to disclose them, but they are people that have refused to speak with us. That presents a challenge in the case. A lot of the witnesses that refuse to speak with us have to do with records, medical records of Bryan Kohberger, past treatment records of Bryan Kohberger. Those are important things that the gravity of what they have to say can't be known to our experts until we have the opportunity to fully understand those things. And we continue to work on access to witnesses and access to additional information. Your Honor, I want to touch on just a couple of points. One, when the court considers a continuance and considers whether Bryan Kohberger's rights are violated, his right to a fair trial, his right to confront witnesses and evidence against him, his right to present a full defense, and his right to effective assistance of counsel are implicated and laid out in our motion to continue. The ABA guidelines require us to do a full investigation. It's not going scorched earth to understand Bryan Kohberger's full life history. These are things that are required. And we've done everything that we can. We have had a mitigation expert on the case. This is 2.5 years into a case, and the average for capital cases is 3.5 years.
In federal court.
In federal court.
Which moves
I
at
said that
snail's
earlier.
pace in its best day. In regular cases.
I'm not a practitioner in federal court, so I don't have any basis to talk to the court about that. But what I can tell you is that a capital case where we have a client and we need to investigate both the merits phase and a penalty phase at the same time takes time. In any case, it takes time to do that. In this case, with the high-profile nature and having people decline to talk to us presents a whole set of challenges that we have to find a way to work through. As the court knows, a lot of mitigation information is very sensitive information. It takes some time to be able to get people to talk about things. Realities exist too. Not all of the family members are in the same place. So there's travel that's required. All of those things take time to do in a case like this. 2.5 years is excessively fast to put all of that together. There was no delay in having a mitigation expert on board. There was no delay in getting investigators to work on the case. And as soon as issues became apparent, Mr. Kohberger's team did not delay in getting experts to help us understand specific areas of the case. Looking over the entire record, the court can see that the defense team has been diligent about discovery, about motion practice, about litigating issues in the case. There just still is a lot left to do. There is still a lot left that is not known. And Mr. Kohberger has a right to go to trial with prepared counsel that have conducted a full investigation in both phases of the case. When you have a certain amount of information and there's this other stuff that's out there, that's a red flag, that's real, that you need to investigate, your experts can only do what's here, what's been investigated, what's been produced for them to assess. This whole other area, that land between the red flags and the investigation, that's an unknown area. That's where there's ineffective assistance of counsel. That's where there's not a fair trial. That's where there's not an individualized sentencing proceeding. And it's that area that requires a continuance in this case.
What if it's already decided, and this is just sort of like, let me hear your last arguments. Come on, God. Because they already put this out in a document 2 days ago.
All right, I'll take the matter under advisement and get an opinion out in short order. In the meantime, I fully encourage everyone to continue as if the trial is going to take place when it is scheduled for. Again, I reserve the right to write the decision that I come to, but as of now, I would tell you that it's likely you're going to trial on the date indicated.
Likely, boom!
Is there any other matters that we need to take up in the public session before we break to go to the private session?
Nothing further in the public session, Your Honor.
No, Your Honor, I don't believe so.
All right, we'll take a 10-minute break while the bailiffs clear the courtroom and we set up for the private session.
All rise, please.
Well, I guess that's it. But man, that was good news at the end. Sounded like he said that it's not likely that he's going to allow a continuance, but he reserves the right. You know, he's going to look through it, blah, blah, blah. That was good news. I mean, it was cool that he even said that. Like, I thought, okay, we're just going to have to wait for his decision. But he said it right there, right? So do you think they're going to come back at all, or is this it? I mean, what do we do? It's still streaming, but it says this portion of the hearing is closed. So I don't know if it ends here soon or what happens. Yeah, well, this one's about the third-party suspect argument. I doubt he's going to allow anything like that, because there is no evidence that anybody else is involved in the crimes. Now they go, well, what about the blood on the... Well, did you do a DNA test on the blood? Defense team, did you send it through, or... Yeah, so it sounds like it's going to be happening. Very cool, very cool. Awesome. So did I see somebody right up there? Was Karen Reed found not guilty? Did that come back, or is that just some other random schmo typing in? Because I sure as hell hope so. I want that case off of social media. Anyways, I thought that was pretty interesting. Good arguments there by the... he seemed a little nervous. That was his first time. I guess that's done then. So he seemed a little bit nervous at first, kind of. You could hear his mouth was pretty dry, because he's like, this is a huge case. Okay, so she was found not guilty? Is that like a thing? God, how amazing. Well, now that case can just disappear, right? Like nobody, what else is there to talk about? Thanks, Kimmer. And by the way, if you're out there, if you guys could please help support the channel during that hearing there, the channel just died. I mean, so if you're out there, if you have the ability to help support the channel, that would be awesome. We're trying to have a good day today to, make up for some really, really, really bad days we had earlier in the month. Oh, good. I'm glad she was, I think she was overcharged in the Karen Reed case, and I think that she, getting her on one of the smaller ones, just forget it. Just get it over with. That's it. Done. But what did you guys think of that hearing we just had? I mean, he brought up all these different points, like how Ann Taylor's a little bit hypocritical. Thank you, Kimmers. We know that's a joke. They can't have any real evidence. No, she was found guilty of drunken driving. Okay. That's the third thing. And so, what do you think they're going to give her maximum? She got probation. That's awesome. Oh, they sentenced her and everything. Ah, it's so great, man. It's just done. Oh, man. I'm so happy. I think my channel actually might do better now. I mean, my God, that case sucked the oxygen out of the true crime community for no reason at all. Just a complete, sensationalistic, wackadoodle trial, or just ridiculous. One year of probation. Yeah, good. See, you obviously were over there watching that instead of the hearing. Let's see. It sounded like she knew she dragged ass on doing her homework. Yeah, well, here's the thing. Ann Taylor, I've said this before. I mean, she recently picked up another murder case. So how is she doing that when she has no time at all to do anything for her client, Bryan Kohberger? I think Ann Taylor is very lazy. She's an incredibly lazy attorney who admitted multiple times over the years that she hasn't even seen all the surveillance footage. How in the hell is that possible? If I had that surveillance footage, you guys know that I would have looked at every second of it and built these cool little, like graphics, putting them all together, etc. The thing is you know why she doesn't look at it? Because she knows her client's guilty. So she doesn't want to go look at it. Yeah. It's just going to show that he... Yeah, okay, yeah. She doesn't want to look at it. And so she's just making up stuff. I mean, it's unbelievable. She really is a lazy attorney, just raking in the bank, because it's a state, case that she's just getting massive funding for, and it's just over and over and over. And then she wants a delay to keep the funding. It's crazy. I'm so mean. Yeah, we've heard it the whole time. Every time. I mean, those hearings that she has where she just talks about, it's all these terabytes. Yeah, videos are big. When I make one of the videos that I make and I export the video off of I record it and edit it and it's only 20 minutes long, it's like 20 gigs. Then I upload it to YouTube. Right? So, yeah, they're big files, so it's easy to start getting into the terabytes. So she keeps claiming, I think the National Library, of Congress, whatever, would probably fit into at least 2 terabytes or less. So it's not written information, it's video. All right? All right, so what do I got to do? Do I have to dance a jig in here to get you guys to help support the channel? We need some more channel memberships. It would be great to get about 11 more of those. We need more channel memberships in here. We have a lot of people that aren't green. So, are there any freaks out there that want to help purchase some channel memberships for other people? Why would she take another case when... I know. That's what I'm saying. Why did she take another case? She can't even deal with this one. And it sounds like the judge is... absolutely leaning towards not allowing a continuance. I don't know. I don't even know how to dance a jig. All right, I don't think I could do it. I think I'd break my leg. Welcome, Caddy Corner. But you guys, look at this massive lull that we've had here. What's going on with that? What happened? It'd be great if we could get another 10 channel memberships, and then I could call it a reasonable live stream. Yep, delay. Don't you guys think that these are really valuable, these 360-degree shots in here? I just think they're... Hey, thanks, Dynamite. Appreciate it. Hop on one leg at a time equals a jig. Hey, thanks, Caddy Corner. There you go. Well, they haven't... He still reserves the right to delay it, he says. But there's absolutely no reason to delay it. It just means Ann Taylor's going to have to cram for her exam because she was too lazy to study over time, like I was sometimes in college. Who didn't do that, right? Like, you sit around and you go, yeah. Okay, I'm going to go to that party. I'm going to go do this. Oh, yeah, let's go fishing. Let's do that. And then you wait till the last minute and you cram for your test, right? That's what she seems to be doing here. But this is a real, this is a real life thing here. What troll was that? Paisley Dreams? I didn't see one. He's not delaying it. This is going to happen. Late July, they're doing jury selection. People ask me if I'm going to the trial, but I'm trying to figure out, why would I go when it's being streamed? I mean, I want to stream it and watch it with all of you guys. I mean, going there would just be... I think the people that would go would be people that would end up being a guest on Court TV or something. I don't want to... That's not what I want to do. I want to cover the whole thing, and I might go there, on the weekends or something, go over to Idaho if there's some interesting element that we hadn't seen before. Yeah, good for you, old Dan Tucker. Let's see, that's right. Seba. 3835. Thank you for gifting a membership. Hey, thanks, gotcha. Yeah, so when the trial happens, we're going to be able to, when they're talking about things, we'll be able to open up these 360-degree shots and be able to say, yeah, so look, she ran from her room right here, Dylan did, and ran across and then down the steps to get to Bethany's room. And then what she saw was, I guess it would be like, see, like from right there, she runs out and just goes right there and then down the steps. And then I think it's right over here. Yeah. A little bit back. I think right here. This is a perfect one. So when Dylan came running out of her room, she runs like this and then down the stairs. But as you can see right over there, you can see that Xana's on the floor in the room. See? So that's how she saw her as she went downstairs. So should I do a live stream later tonight or what? I mean, man, I was hoping to do well enough on this one to not have to do that, but no, I can't. This is what it looks like. Why would I turn the lights on? What the hell? You turn the lights on. No, this is just what it looks like. All right. Yeah, all right. We need, if we can get another 5 channel memberships, at least we'll be at a reasonable number to get off of this stream. All right, not sure what the deal is, but oh, cool, Vicky Kennedy. Awesome. She is going to speak again. Oh, she is. Oh, you must be on rewind. Yep. Who's doing it? Who's doing the 5 channel memberships? Trying to reach a number. Footage should be 16 feet deep into all. No. I mean, I would watch every night of you. Oh my God, look at this. Ooh. See, that's why it's like she oh, wow, look at Patricia Grizo. Thank you. Very kind. She gifted 5. Who got them? We got Dixie, Hippie, Kylie Ryan, Carol Ann, Mark Brock, and Phil R. Yeah, I think, well, that's what I'm saying. But here's the thing. If you think he's guilty, isn't it the most interesting thing in the world to watch every second of the video? Isn't it? Thanks, Wise Child. Another one. Wouldn't it be the most interesting thing in the world to look at that surveillance when you think somebody is guilty of something? But if you don't think they're guilty, or you don't want, you have to protect somebody and you don't want to see their guilt, then it's something you don't really want to go look at. You're not really that interested. You get it? Like, what if it was your son? Would you really want to sit there and stare at the video when you kind of think that they did it already? And it's like, okay, now it really proves it. You know, you want to kind of maintain your belief that maybe they didn't do it, but once you start looking at the surveillance, you're going to go, oh, God, he did it. And maybe she's trying to protect her own brain from losing any of the enthusiasm she might still have left. Thanks, Maria. Appreciate it. She said, thank you for all that you do. Well, thank you. Yeah, it was a pretty short hearing. Yeah, it's interesting how they always go off the air after the fact. Although I think if I had kept the URL, a lot of times they make them unlisted right after. So I got to get into the habit of just grabbing it. And they're still sitting there for a while. That was pretty short. I thought that might be a little longer than that. I was hoping he would actually just give his final ruling, but he sort of did, because right at the end he said that he is likely going to not allow the continuance. You worded it a little differently than that. Mom and dad in denial. They can't have a crazy son. 2.5 years is too soon. Well, didn't you guys hear me at the beginning when, in her argument, she argued that at federal courts, and then I said, well, this isn't federal. When we read that the ChatGPT breakdown of it. And then that's exactly what the judge said. This isn't federal court. And then she's like, she had nothing to say after that. You know what I should do? You know those faces that I put on Kohberger's head? Maybe I could put his own face on his own head, because it's so blurry, right? So I was thinking maybe we could put some of these. Let's see. These ones right here. Look at these. These are great. Watch. We have one with chihuahuas running around barking. We might put that one up there. This one we have Bigfoot in the background, and he's digging a hole to bury his items, but then there's a Bigfoot and then headlights. We've got this one again. That one's kind of creepy looking there. But, let's see. Put that one over his face. How about that one? That'd be good. Or that one looks weird. It doesn't really look like him. And, oh, there we go. We could put that on there. That would be awesome. And then we've got, oh, there we go. How about that, huh? Oh, see, that one I think would be funny as hell. Look at that. Where he's got, like, it's really his face. Or not really his, but like an imitation face. So you put that on the top. And then use that one right there. Yeah, maybe I'll take some of these and just sort of like from the neck up or something, and then be able to place them there. That way at least we can see what he looks like. Because it's so blurry, so far away. Yeah. AI makes him look like I know, like, but it does look like it. Like, he doesn't smile like this. He doesn't do that either, you know. He doesn't do that. He kind of looks more like that, but the eyes suck on that one. That one's crazy. This is Kohberger after 10 years in prison right there. Look at that. Doesn't that look exactly like what he might look like? A little older. He's just another hearing, you know. Just another hearing for Kohberger. 10 years later. Now he's like 38 years old, maybe 40. He's got another hearing, and he's just, God, here's another one. Yeah, those are kind of creepy ones, though, huh? ChatGPT has all these really weird rules. I say, make chihuahuas attacking the fictitious Kohberger, and they go, we can't do that. We can make it look like they're barking, and okay, well, do what you got to do, okay? Let me type it in. Have you heard the phrase Kohberger? Yes, the term Kohberger has popped up on an online discussion. Let's see.
Yes, the term Kohberger has popped up in online discussions, especially on forums, YouTube comments, and Reddit threads about the Idaho 4 case. It's typically used sarcastically or critically to describe people who appear to defend Bryan Kohberger, question the prosecution's case, or heavily scrutinize law enforcement and media narratives surrounding the murders. It's not a formal label, it's more of a meme or slang term, often thrown around by those who believe Kohberger is clearly guilty, and view anyone expressing skepticism as overly sympathetic or Team Kohberger.
Yeah, well,
think of it like, Oh, here come the Proburgers with another conspiracy theory about planted DNA. Or, she's gone full Proburger, says he was framed by the FBI, and the Elantra wasn't even white. It's a play on pro-Kohberger, often implying bias or delusion depending on who's using it. Want it broken down further or memeified?
No, thanks. Can you create a fictitious, I don't know if I spelled that right, image of a Proburger? I mean, I don't know, what would it come up with? Absolutely, I can create a fictitious.
Absolutely. I can create a fictitious satirical image of a Proburger character. Here's a concept you might like. Visual concept for the Proburger.
Here we go.
A man or woman wearing a hoodie that says, "I need more proof." Surrounded by courtroom documents, red string conspiracy boards.
Here we go. Here we go. I'm having it create this image. Let's see what it looks like. There we go. I use ChatGPT. I think you can tell that I can see how this would have like it does photo restorations even, but sometimes it takes too much of a liberty recreating somebody's face or something. Greta Thunberg. I always thought her name was Thornburg for some reason. Oh, look at this. Look at this thing. Here, you guys. Look at this. Ah, man, that's so perfect. The Proburgers. Bushy eye Crom. What does that say in there? Look at this. That's a Proburger. I need more proof. DNA or not. DNA or did not apply. Oh man, I gotta save this. Let's see. There we go. Yeah, the female Proburgers out there seem to think that there's a chance they might get to go on a date. Okay? So let's see what this one says. That's not true, Gray. Maybe we just don't think the facts support it. What are you talking about? That's all it is. Every single element and fact of the case point right to Bryan Kohberger. And that's the point, Gray. What are the odds that everything... Well, when you kill somebody and you're the one, the facts will tend to do that. No, it couldn't say I'm asking questions. That's not what it would say, Urban Infidel. It would say I'm a nut job. Let's see. Let's see what this one says. This is a female individual. Well, that's what it always seems like. They're always like, he didn't do it, you guys. He's just, you know. What's that say? Eyebrow? Something or other. DNA? I think they even put a white Elantra in there. That's pretty crazy. I mean... That's pretty good. I scroll it up. I love Kohberger. Look, you know what would have been? Hey, listen. Have the woman painting the white Elantra model lime green, holding the brush in her left hand. Oh, look at that. Oh, man. Oh, that was amazing. You scroll down. It's... I love Kohberger. Oh, man. That's it. Come on, let's see what it did with the paintbrush. And this would be like a meme that's spread around. It's weird how it sort of slowly goes through this. I mean, wouldn't it just already have it all generated? You know, instead of just kind of having this slow reveal. Yeah. Oh, there it is. The lime green Elantra. Look at that, huh? You can't see the I Love Kohberger anymore, but put glasses on her and have her look at the model. She was actually cute, that one. Which no Kohbergers are, so. Yep, we're having one of those lulls again. I mean, this humor here is definitely super chat worthy, wouldn't you say? Well, let's see. Let me see what this last one looks like. I don't know if there's space to put on a tattoo. Yeah, it was it was a AI generated human there. Doesn't exist. Just ask a Kohberger, would you sit there calmly for almost 3 years knowing you're being framed? Yeah. DNA or not? Okay, now look at now she's got an intensified look on her face with glasses, looking at the model while she's painting it lime green. I used this is 4. It says right at the top of the screen there. See that? I Love Kohberger painting the lime green Elantra. I think that one was the best one right there. What do you guys think? Don't you think that one's the best one? Eyebrow certain. What does it say on the face there? Give her ridiculously bushy eyebrows. Just waiting for the next one to render. I gotta get out of here though soon. Not sure why we're doing the massive lulls again, but so now it's it's not gonna. They switched it out. Now it's not the. Maybe that is a pro burger though. Now that's a Kohberger fan there. That looks like a painting. Look at that. That's pretty good. Painting a green Elantra. Oh yeah. There we go. There we go. All right. Yeah. Thanks to Zepp, Patricia Grizo, Christine Jellybean, Cheryl Moran with the cat eye at the beginning. Then we had K Me, Alley Cake, Cheryl Moran, H Doc, Kimmers, Laura Clegg, Patricia Grizo, M. Morgan, Nikki Butler, Joseph Brennan, Kimmers, H. Doc gifted a membership, Amber Maiden gifted 5, CR gifted 5, and Kimberly Gabalin, Mamasaurus Bear 64, Richard Watts, Wise Child, Tina Humphrey, CR, and Tumbleweed did a double cat eye. Thank you so much. It made a big difference there. Captain Cubman, Cynthia Hagen, Derek Sherman, Mallory Beavers, Landy 8, and Tumbleweed 19 months. Yeah, we know, Joe Huck, we know it's not that big a deal. I just want, that case has been an absolute joke. K-Me, B. Sir, CR, Linda Cosma, 27 months, CR, gifted 5 again. Then we have Valerie Fan, CR, Shay 530, Linda Cosma, Alley Cake, Vicky Kennedy, Valerie Fan, I think, and then M. Morgan, CR, Eagle Stars and Stripes, Teddy Bundy, Zep, Olivia, and then CR, Valerie Fan, Vicky White, Mark Ferris, Julie Stanley, K. Me, Kimmers, Kathy Corner, new member, then Kathy Corner, Seba 835 gifted a membership, Patricia gifted 5, then Wise Child, and Maria. Then we had Ted Bundy gifted, I think, 3 coffees there. And then we got a Cash App from Christy, and then another coffee from Valerie. So there you go. Anyways, thanks everybody for being here. I hope you got something out of the show. You know, I try to provide a little humor when possible. And also, thanks for all the people who supported the channel today. It makes a big difference. We kind of struggled this month a little bit, but we are, you know, starting to head into the home stretch for the end of the month. So, you know, when you're watching my channel, if you have the ability to, that'd be great to get the support, because we give away tons and tons of money out of the income from the channel. We're almost at 250,000 over a 5-year period, or I guess 5.5 at this point. So we'll see how it goes. But you know, thought today's show would do a little better than it did, but you know, sometimes it just is what it is. All right, thanks everybody. We'll see you later. And as I always say, until next time, Be safe out there.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime
Oh,
thing
thanks,
for quite a
Mods,
while
for
now.
taking care of everything.
And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, plug rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher.
Yeah, they try and play me like a little projector.
Crime sector is my nectar. Professor
Thanks,
Quigley's
Leon.
gonna give another lecture.
Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a protector. Move a flactor, interceptor, and I'm a little specter with a vector.
On his
Pector,
with all respect,
spectral, just remember,
I have a temper fucking
conjecture. I have no agenda, I'm no attender, and I'll sort it to you straight without the blender.
And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody? Talk to you later.